Boy, oh boy. First storm in the boat.
Well, we didn't expect to face a storm with 40-knot winds during our first few days on the boat. But here we are.
It's nasty up here.
Hunkered down, rolling in the dock, and building up our sea legs. For us, this was a good test for our third day on the boat, quickly learning how it handles in very nasty conditions. In the last episode, we had our first day of training as we took our new-to-us Navigator 4800 across the Chesapeake Bay to Cape Charles, Virginia. We took in as much information as we could without getting overwhelmed with anticipation for some more training over the next few days. If you're new here, we're Kevin and Taylor with 2 little ones in tow, and we just made the jump headfirst from van life into boat life. For the start of our boat training day 2, it's a race against the clock to see how much we can get accomplished with some docking practice in rather windy conditions before we're forced to hunker down and ride out the storm.
We got breakfast on deck. Gotta eat quick. We are checking the engine room right now. It's just down there. And we're also filling up our water tank. So everyone showered, can shower, continue to shower. How'd you sleep?
I slept good.
Yeah, you slept good?
I didn't wake up until like early.
So Grammy and Poppy's room, they have to climb over each other to go to the bathroom if you wake up in the middle of the night. So that's the only downside of that room. It's a little tight, but it's nice to be in a under 50-foot layout. So
I also feel like with the amount that you use that room, is it like, I mean, the sleeping situation could definitely be better, but it's not like you're hanging out on there. You know?
It wasn't bad at all. When he got up to go to the bathroom, I got up right after, and he waited for me to come back in, so it was perfect.
Just like our first day of training, we got started right away. I took the controls at first, wrapping us around the channel to the south side of Cape Charles, since we were expecting heavy winds from the northwest this evening, so we figured it'd be best to move and try to find better protection. Notice the wind? It's relatively calm since it was at our back, but as we made the turn into the harbor, the wind started ripping on the port side of our bow. This made for a great learning experience since every day along the loop isn't going to be perfect, and it's only a matter of time until we face some nasty weather.
First up was practicing pulling up to the fuel dock, and although it was rather windy, this wasn't too bad as the wind was pushing against us as we approached the dock, and it's easier to move into the wind than with it.
You want to go kind of bow in, a little bit bow in, but then we're going to use our reverse starboard to pull us over.
Scott helped me a bit here as I forgot about the damn bow thruster again, but we were able to get her softly landed against the dock.
That was excellent. What do you mean, man?
All right, man.
Come on. I got this.
Sweet.
Now,
Our boat holds 530 gallons of fuel, and we put 100 gallons of diesel into each tank. Fuel is likely going to be our largest expense depending on how many nights we're able to anchor out, so it was nice to face this beast of a fuel bill early on to reiterate the importance of understanding our fuel consumption at different speeds and RPMs. We're trying to track a lot of different metrics and have a logbook to record pretty much everything that we can think of. My goal is to really have this boat dialed in once we get started on the loop. Next up was a pump out, since we never did this before and we may as well get it done while we're here. If you're not familiar with the boating terminology, a pump out is when you literally pump out your nasties from the boat's black water tank into the waste tank of a fuel dock or marina. You do this via this large hose that suctions to your black water tank's outlet and sucks all of those yummy juices out of the tank. Once emptied, it's a good idea to flush it with some fresh water and do an additional suck out to get a good cleaning. After the pump out, we had to get the boat hauled out of the water to get some work done. The wind was really starting to pick up though, and we were so focused on getting the boat on the lift that we kind of forgot to start the camera, which was a bummer because it was kind of hectic. Hopefully I do not make that mistake again.
We did a quick haul out this morning because during our survey we noticed that the zincs on the back of the boat needed to be replaced. So while we have the captain, we are doing that now. The weather's going to get really bad this afternoon. it's supposed to rain, and we're already gusting like 30 to 40 miles an hour. So we're getting this done real quick because tomorrow is going to be even worse. So we can't do it tomorrow. And then, yeah, hopefully we'll get a little bit of docking practice in, but I don't know how much we're actually going to get because of the wind gusts. But we'll go from there. In addition to the zincs, we also got the prop nuts readjusted since they were reversed. The starboard prop was surprisingly loose, so we wanted to make sure we got this done right, putting the jam nut on against the propeller, then the locking nut. If you're curious, the jam nut is the smaller one of the two, and the locking nut is the thicker one, obviously. We wrapped up the hull out, and it was time to get this boat in its slip for the night. Scott backed us out off the lift, but Kevin was eager to give it a go. For reference, these super yachts came into the marina to avoid the storm because it was going to be hammering later this evening and into tomorrow. I took a screenshot recording of the Windy app for reference.
So on day 2 of learning how to operate a 48-foot boat, it's time to dock this thing in some windy conditions. For this slip, we'll be having the wind push against our starboard side, but hopefully the wind will be blocked a bit from the restaurant and our neighboring boat as we enter into the slips. Here I'm taking a wide turn into the channel so I can turn and come into the dock straight on and get a feel for how fast the wind is pushing against the boat. As we're moving forward, you can see my stern is starting to drift towards my port or left side, and to counter that, we're pointing the bow towards the slips to keep us closer to the right side against the wind. In windy conditions like this, we had to use the throttles to increase the RPMs and get a bit more power through the push of the wind. And it was a really good learning experience that I will take forward when it's time for me to do this by myself with no captain. Again, just like in the previous episode, we're loving these headsets for easy communication, especially when we're docking on a starboard tie. I'm heavily relying on Taylor for my visibility to make sure I'm lined up with the dock, and these things are just fantastic, not having to raise your voice. With the storm rolling in, we added a few more lines than what we typically use, just for peace of mind and added security to help keep us nice and tight against the floating dock.
So the weather, we got a pretty good storm coming on a little bit earlier than expected. We knew it was coming Tuesday, but it actually started coming midday on Monday today. So we're taking a pause from training. It's blowing like 30 knot gusts, so a little intense for training purposes. So we decided to clean the boat. Taylor is now cleaning the windows in the storm, leveraging the rain and the fresh water. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. I just have two more windows left. Other than the outside.
It looks really good.
Do they look better? They were looking real crappy.
Yeah. And I mean the front looks light years better.
Yeah. Well, meet you over there. Hopefully I won't fall in. Look at my leg.
Just yell if you do. What is that from?
The boat? The white paint?
To wrap up day 2 of training, we popped over to the popular restaurant called The Shanty to get some fresh seafood before letting the little man get his zoomies out and calling it a night.
Silly boy.
You silly boy. You're the silly boy. You're the silly boy.
You just watch her a second.
Good morning, little girl. Good morning. Hi. Well, the storm has arrived. Today it's going to get up to 45 mile an hour gust or 40 knot gust, one of the two. So I don't think we're going to be taking the boat out and doing some training. I don't think it's a wise decision because this would definitely be a no on the go, no-go decision making. I think there's a small craft advisory out in the bay. And according to the Windy app, the color is like orange, dark orange, which is pretty gnarly. I don't think that's something we want to venture out in, and we need to be safe. So we'll see how it all turns out as the sun comes up. But yesterday was pretty intense as well, so we'll see how it goes. What are you doing with your tongue out? You sticking your tongue out? It's gonna be a nice Pilot House coffee listening to the rain. Right?
Look at the water. And you can just see it in that light. Boy, oh boy. First storm in the boat.
It's also pouring today, so we'll see if we find any new leaks that we didn't discover during survey day or since we've had the boat, because it hasn't rained at all, and today it's downpouring. So hopefully we don't find any leaks, but older boats, I feel like that's a thing, so gotta embrace it.
Can't do this in a van.
No, you can't. So nice.
So nice.
Are we happy with our decision?
We're happy with our decision.
When we were in our van, we would be trapped until Wyatt woke up or
We'd
when
be
he
trapped
go to
all
sleep.
day in this weather.
Oh, yeah. In a rainy day like this, if we weren't driving, it would be miserable.
Miserable.
Essentially, we would be trapped in this little rectangle of our 48-foot boat. And that space would include a kitchen, a shower, a seat for Wyatt that converts into a crib, and our bed. Not much space.
Oh, no space. There'd be no table for Little Miss, and she's having the time of her life.
She loves She loves that little new toy.
Lolo. Hi, sweet girl.
Hi. And this layout kind of has like different sections, so we can kind of separate ourselves. So I'm currently editing our video up in the pilot house, and Taylor's in the salon area watching her show and just having a mom break because it's well deserved. It's been a hectic last week, but it's just kind of nice that we can kind of separate ourselves, especially for editing purposes, so I can have like a little bit less noise and be able to make voiceovers and stuff. But we're really liking it. Good morning. Good morning. Whoop. You did that thing.
Cooking on the boat with all of this space is much nicer than the van. In the van I had about this much space. And in this space included a sink, a stove, and a little prep station. So this is quite nice.
Not to mention the overhead cabinets that were in your
Correct, yeah.
view
And
area.
since the table's up there, I just had I can just put the plates up here rather than walk them all the way around, which is also a very nice feature.
It's so nice. All right, breakfast sandwiches and eggs and plain poppy toast sandwich.
Plain poppy.
Since it's a little too rough for training today, unless you're in the U.S. Coast Guard, we're staying hunkered down on the boat, riding out the storm. I mean, just check out the rolling here. And remember, the camera doesn't quite do it justice, and it's still pretty visible. Anyway, I'm up on the flybridge today because we're still trying to get things accomplished and turning this nasty day into a learning opportunity. Scott is coming over soon, and we're going to review route planning, analyze weather, and go over some of the boat systems. Starting with our electronics, I popped up here on the flybridge to turn on our Raymarine Axioms to see if we can link it to Orca Navigation, because then we can import routes from our phones directly into our multifunction displays. Playing around with route planning and weather analyzing, making sure that we understand what our go or no-go status is. And since it's just super nasty out, we're getting all of our systems in check, making sure everything's updated, the firmware is updated, getting them in sync so our radar communicates with both multifunction displays. So right now it's only working with one. We got the bottom all squared away, but now we got a break in the range, so we're trying to get the flybridge squared away here. We also took a look at other apps on our iPhones and tablets like Aquamaps, Marine Traffic, the Windy app, Active Captain, and Docwa, to name a few. Then Scott and I jumped down in the engine room to look at the seacocks, which are your ball valves allowing seawater into the engines, the generators, or the AC pumps, to make sure they're functioning properly. And then we ran through the engines, identifying what components are what and the maintenance intervals of each. After our training session, we just hung out and took it easy. It was kind of nice, to be honest, rolling with the waves, and it felt like we were getting rocked like a baby. At least that's what I could say for the grandparents, who had a nice nap or two.
Can I be them? Because we're a day.
As the night grew on, the storm started to pick up and come closer, with the rain and the wind intensifying.
Kaboom. Whoa. It's a rolly.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
This is what normal people say, like, we won't go on the boat this weekend, yet here we are.
Yeah, really.
Hopefully this will be the worst that we see in a very long time.
I really don't think it's that bad, but yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be.
Nah, this is... I mean, if it ever gets this bad, we know. Let's try and get to a marina and not on the hook.
We wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
Days on the hook with weather like this that could be unpredictable and change. No, not with kids.
All right. You heard her.
I agree. Be risk averse.
We got really foggy inside because we had an issue with our pilot house AC. So I just ran down into the... I didn't bring the camera, of course, but I went down to check what was going on or if I could notice anything, and there was a kind of like weak vibration from the pump. And then I asked Taylor to turn the Salon AC on to compare the vibrations of the pumps, and I think it re-engaged. Maybe the through hole underneath was blocked because they're right next to each other, and maybe it helped block whatever water flow was going through to the pump. But we're cranking again. Hopefully these windows will clear up because it's fun to watch and see everything, how the outside is handling, because it's pretty gnarly right now. We're getting 50 knot gusts, and it's not great to see. Oh, one of our straps maybe came undone on our canvas, and the boat is falling apart. Woo! It's nasty up here. My golly. Oh wow, they all came undone. Glad I saw this. Look. We got 3 out of 4. Let's see if I can get. Okay. I think that's better. And soaked up here. My God, check her out though. Woo! You can't even see too far past out into the bay. Out in the bay must be a freaking nightmare. My goodness, that is scary. Can't see anything. You can barely see the breaker wall. Well, we saw this water damage in the survey, obviously, and walking through it's pretty easy to spot, but it's pretty wet, so we still have a good leak coming through, which is unfortunate, especially since this is Wyatt's room, and I'm seeing it drip all the way onto this side now and kind of creating a new potential run. And I really don't want that to happen. So, add this to the list of projects to do. But the project might just be avoid the rain at all costs, if possible. I know that's easier said than done. I think I found the leak. I had to remove some paneling here and remove this panel right here. And there inside is the windshield wiper, and that wood is wet. So I'm assuming that the wood is dripping down path of least resistance, which just ends up landing right where Wyatt's bunk top bed is. Luckily it's not a bad leak, but it looks like this is definitely the culprit. So that was pretty moist. I've wiped it a lot with paper towels. And then I even saw it down there a little bit. Like, and then along that seam underneath, right there too. And I went outside and was looking, but there's not much. And then I text Scott, and Scott was like, check window seals, look for leaks, try and find it now, because if it dries and you don't get another rainstorm like this, you won't find it again until it happens again. Like if we waited and then try to look for it. So welcome to boat life.
Yay, our first big problem. And we're not even a week in.
Well, I hope you liked this episode of us showing the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're always going to keep it real with you guys and share as much as we can, because if it can help just one other person, it's worth it. Anyway, in the next episode, we wrap up our last day of training, and Taylor takes the helm to practice her docking skills and get comfortable handling this 48-foot boat. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.